Good morning, it's August 7th, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. Recent excavations on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi have uncovered 7 stone tools, suggesting that ancient human relatives may have arrived on the island between 1 million and 1.5 million years ago. This timeline significantly predates previous estimates regarding early human migration to the region. The excavation, led by Budianto Hakim from Indonesia's National Research and Innovation Agency, took place at a site known as Kallio, where the tools were found embedded in sedimentary layers. Geological analysis indicates that these artifacts are nearly 1.5 million years old, crafted from local chert using a percussion flaking technique. The tools exhibit signs of advanced craftsmanship, likely used for cutting and scraping, indicating that the toolmakers possessed specific skills. This discovery contributes to a deeper understanding of early human migration across the Wallace Line, which separates distinct animal species that evolved in isolation. The study, titled Hominins on Sulawesi During the Early Pleistocene, was published in the journal Nature on August 6, 2025. It underscores the role of archaeological studies in reshaping narratives about early human history. Although the exact means by which these early humans reached Sulawesi remains unclear, there is speculation that they may have arrived accidentally on natural rafts of floating vegetation. Experts caution against making premature conclusions about migration paths and emphasize the necessity for further research on these ancient human relatives. The findings also raise questions about the evolutionary changes that may have occurred in hominins on Sulawesi, a larger and ecologically diverse island compared to Flores. Homo erectus is considered the most likely candidate for making these sea crossings, as they were present in Southeast Asia at that time and produce similar tools. Professor Adam Brum, who leads the research team, notes that this discovery enhances the understanding of early human migration and adaptation in Southeast Asia. Future archaeological efforts will aim to locate direct remains of the toolmakers and explore the dynamics of early human habitation in the region. Alzheimer's disease is a growing concern in the United States, currently affecting over 7 million Americans. Projections indicate that this number could rise to nearly 13 million by the year 2050, highlighting the urgent need for effective treatments. Alzheimer's accounts for 60 to 80% of dementia cases, leading to significant memory loss and cognitive decline, making recent research on potential treatments particularly significant. A groundbreaking study has shown that low doses of lithium can reverse cognitive decline in mice exhibiting Alzheimer's symptoms. This suggests that lithium deficiency may play a role in the disease. The findings point to a promising new mechanism for treating Alzheimer's that could be both safe and cost-effective. The research emphasizes lithium's critical role in maintaining neuron connections, supporting myelin formation, and enhancing the function of microglial cells that clear debris from the brain. Interestingly, significant concentrations of lithium were detected in amyloid plaques found in Alzheimer's patients. This indicates that these plaques may sequester lithium, reducing its bioavailability in the brain. However, Dr. Bruce Yankner from Harvard has cautioned against self-medication with lithium, stressing the need for further clinical trials to validate its safety and efficacy in humans. While existing antibody therapies for Alzheimer's offer only modest benefits and can cause significant side effects, the study encourages future clinical trials to explore the efficacy of lithium orotate in humans. A significant barrier to advancing this research is the freeze on federal funding at Harvard due to political decisions, which could impede progress in developing lithium-based therapies for Alzheimer's. Neuroscientist Ashley Bush described the findings as groundbreaking, noting that current Alzheimer's drugs primarily target amyloid plaques rather than addressing all major disease pathologies. Furthermore, previous research indicated that individuals prescribed lithium have nearly half the risk of developing Alzheimer's compared to those who are not, further supporting the need for investigation into lithium's potential benefits. A groundbreaking study has revealed significant genetic differences in individuals diagnosed with ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome, compared to those without the condition. This research, known as the DECODE-ME study, marks a pivotal moment in understanding the genetic contributions to the disease's development. The study involved 15,579 DNA samples from a total of 27,000 participants and identified 8 distinct regions of genetic code linked to immune and nervous system functions in people with ME/CFS. Professor Chris Ponting from the University of Edinburgh emphasized the importance of these findings, noting they provide insights into why infections can trigger ME/CFS and why pain is a prevalent symptom. Co-investigator Sonia Chowdhury described the findings as groundbreaking, suggesting they could significantly impact the understanding and treatment of ME/CFS. This research also aims to provide legitimacy to patients who have faced skepticism regarding their condition. The study's findings could lead to improved diagnostic tests and treatments, enhancing the recognition of ME/CFS as a legitimate medical condition. Notably, at least 2 of the identified genetic signals are associated with the body's response to infections, aligning with patient reports that their symptoms often began following an infectious illness. Among the genes identified, RABGAP1L is highlighted as a probable contributor to ME/CFS risk, supporting the notion that initial mild infections can lead to symptom onset. Future research will explore these genomic regions further, with hopes of developing new diagnostic tools and targeted treatments, contingent on securing adequate funding. Currently, the study's results are published as a preprint and have not yet undergone peer review, indicating that further validation is needed. Historically, ME/CFS has been mischaracterized as a psychological disorder, but this growing biological evidence is challenging that view. ME/CFS is estimated to affect around 67 million people globally, with approximately 404,000 cases in the UK, predominantly impacting women, although the genetic basis for this gender disparity remains unclear. Despite the significant findings, researchers caution that the genetic factors identified account for only a small portion of the risk for ME/CFS, underscoring the complexity of the disorder. A recent study sheds light on the dietary habits that may influence the risk of type 2 diabetes. Conducted over more than 30 years and involving over 205,000 participants, the research highlights significant differences in health outcomes based on food preparation methods. The findings reveal that individuals consuming 3 servings of French fries per week face a 20% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. In contrast, those who consumed the same amount of boiled, mashed, or baked potatoes experience only a 1% increase in risk. Experts attribute this disparity to the rapid conversion of potato starch into glucose, which can lead to insulin spikes and ultimately contribute to diabetes. Lead author Sayed Mohammed Musavi emphasized the importance of food preparation methods, noting that fried foods are linked to insulin resistance and obesity. In a controversial move, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. suggested reverting to beef tallow for frying, though this recommendation is not supported by scientific evidence. Nutritionists advocate for a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains to promote better health and mitigate diabetes risk. Researchers are calling for more nuanced dietary guidelines that consider food preparation methods, as not all carbohydrates or potatoes have the same health implications. While sweet potato fries may have a lower glycemic index, they still pose a risk if consumed excessively, indicating the need for further research. Currently, type 2 diabetes affects about 1 in 10 Americans and can lead to serious health complications, including heart attacks and kidney damage. The study also warns against substituting potatoes with white rice, as this switch has been linked to an increased diabetes risk. It's important to note that while the study indicates a correlation between French fry consumption and diabetes risk, it does not establish a direct cause and effect relationship. A serving of French fries is defined as about 4 to 6 ounces, equivalent to a medium to large serving of McDonald's fries, and it's noted that portion sizes in the U.S. often exceed recommended amounts. The World Health Organization has unveiled updated guidelines that reflect the evolving landscape of COVID-19 since the pandemic began in 2020. These revisions are prompted by a significant decline in infection rates and disease severity, as well as the integration of COVID-19 care into standard healthcare systems. Despite the progress made, including extensive vaccine rollouts, COVID-19 continues to infect thousands daily, highlighting the necessity for updated treatment strategies. The WHO points out that while vaccination and natural immunity have contributed to lower hospitalization and mortality rates, the SARS-CoV-2 virus is still evolving, which affects its infectivity and severity of disease. This ongoing evolution underscores the need for continuous updates to clinical guidelines to ensure effective patient care. In its latest recommendations, the WHO advises against the use of antibiotics for COVID-19 patients unless there is a suspicion of a concurrent bacterial infection. This guidance is particularly strong for patients with mild cases and is conditionally recommended for those with severe illness. For non-severe COVID-19 patients with low suspicion of bacterial infection, the WHO also recommends against the use of empirical antibiotics, extending this suggestion to severe cases. To keep the guidelines focused and relevant, the WHO has removed general medical recommendations that are no longer applicable to COVID-19 management. Overall, these updated guidelines aim to provide clearer direction for clinicians, health workers, and hospital administrators involved in caring for COVID-19 patients. This has been your Daily Brief in Science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.